What if Anna didn't save Elsa here? What if all her pent-up frustrations, like being isolated her whole life, having a sister who won't give her the time of day, or the first person she connects with on the outside turning out to be a treacherous murderer, combined with the strange magic Elsa has placed in her heart and created something colder? What if Anna became the true villain of Frozen? This is FanScription. The highly anticipated Frozen 2 is finally hitting theaters 6 years after the original became the highest-grossing animated film of all time and an absolute pop culture phenomenon. Despite the first film being slightly overexposed, I maintain that I really enjoy it. The songs, story, characters, atmosphere, it's pretty good stuff. It doesn't really need much improvement, so I decided to take a dive into Disney Elseworlds territory and make a major change that would take us down a darker alternate path. So once again, with the same pieces in play and most of the same spirit in mind, let's craft a divergent and more frigid take on the story. The Frozen heart song kicks in, foreshadowing what's to come, as we see a young Kristoff and Sven for the first time. The setup in Arendelle remains the same. Elsa and Anna are small children shown skating and building Olaf with Elsa's ice powers. When Anna is accidentally blasted in the head with a stray wave of Elsa's magic, she is instantly knocked out as a streak of her red hair turns pale. The girl's parents rush in and take them to the trolls at the Valley of the Living Rock. There, Grandpappy examines Anna.
You are lucky it wasn't her heart. A frozen heart can change a person's soul. It's not so easily helped. But the head can be persuaded.
Pappy proceeds to heal Anna, but removes her memories of Elsa's powers. He goes on to give a dark warning to the older sister.
Listen to me, Elsa. Your power will only grow. There is beauty in it, but also great danger. Fear will be your enemy. You must learn to control it. If not, those around you will pay the price.
Following this scene, we'll still see how the king plans to protect his daughters. He closes the gates to the castle, limits Elsa's contact with others, and makes sure no one finds out about her powers. He also does his best to teach Elsa to downplay them as much as possible.
The gloves will help. See? Conceal it.
Don't feel it.
Don't let it show.
As time goes on, we see that the king is also passing on a strong sense of responsibility to his oldest.
Elsa, I won't be around forever. One day, you'll not only be queen, but the protector of Arendelle. It's our duty to make sure we safeguard this kingdom, its people, and our family.
He emphasizes that what the troll predicted as a possible future must never come to pass. All this is strongly instilled in her as the years go on, and weighs heavy on the future queen. When Elsa is 18, her parents are to leave for 2 weeks. She is wary of their trip.
Do you have to go?
You'll be fine, Elsa. Look after your sister. Protect Arendelle until we return.
While on their journey, the king and queen's boat capsize under a giant wave and they're presumed dead. 3 years later, Elsa has come of age and is to be named queen. Thus, for the first time in years, the gates to the castle are opened for the ceremony and celebration. Anna is elated. She dreams of meeting new people and finding love. When you think about it, despite her chipper attitude, Anna's life hasn't been so happy. She's been cooped up in the castle for most of her life, and she's never told why. Her sister barely speaks to her, which hurts her deeply, and her parents tragically died just a few years earlier. Her extroverted personality does not suit the lifestyle she's forced to live. I mean, she's got no real friends to talk to and so much stored up energy that she resorts to having conversations with paintings. The hope for a brighter future has made Anna feel as good as she ever has. Her dreams even seem to come true as she meets Prince Hans of the Southern Isles. Later, when Elsa rebuffs their heart-to-heart, Anna runs into Hans again and almost instantly falls in love with him, or at least she thinks so. She accepts his proposal and they immediately run to Elsa for her blessing. When she turns them down, Anna's frustrations with her sister boil over.
Anna, what do you know about true love?
Well, more than you. All you know is how to shut people out.
This is a good setup that wasn't explored quite as much as it could have been in the original movie. It would have been great to get a few more scenes of the conflict between the sisters before Elsa's powers are revealed.
Elsa, please, please, I can't live like this anymore.
Then leave.
What did I ever do to you?
Enough, Anna.
The smart thing about this argument is that you can see both sides of it. As referenced earlier, Anna can't go on living the way she's been forced to, and Elsa has been cold to her for so long now, they almost feel like strangers. She's rightfully upset. But from Elsa's perspective, she's just trying to do her best to protect her sister and Arendelle from her unpredictable powers. Her father never told her how complicated her duties would become, and now that they're older, it's very difficult to see what the right thing to do is.
Why do you shut me out? Why do you shut the world out? What are you so afraid of? I said enough!
Elsa's strong emotional reaction triggers her powers, and with the cat out of the bag, she flees. Her frantic escape accidentally freezes the fjord surrounding the castle and sets off an unnatural winter. Even though this really wasn't her fault, Anna accepts responsibility for what happened and vows to find Elsa. She sort of inexplicably leaves Hans in charge of Arendelle, which I guess we can chalk up to her impulsive personality and emotional state, but through all of what's just happened, she still never loses her faith in Elsa.
Are you sure you can trust her? I don't want you getting hurt.
She's my sister. She would never hurt me.
From here, we of course have to still feature Let It Go.
The snow glows white on the mountain tonight, not a footprint to be...
Heather! They know the song.
Fine.
Elsa builds the ice palace on the North Mountain and seemingly embraces her full power, leaving her old life behind. As Anna searches for Elsa, she's still optimistic, but maybe just a little more bitter than we saw in the original film. Who wouldn't be? Elsa was rude, rejected Anna's perceived chance at happiness, told her to leave the castle, then froze their home. So the character is mostly the same, but has a bit of a chip on her shoulder about the situation. From here, Anna still meets Kristoff and Sven as they team up to find her sister. Kristoff and Anna also slowly fall for each other. They meet Olaf on the base of the North Mountain, which jogs a few fuzzy memories the trolls changed in her head. Back in Arendelle, Anna's horse gallops home, which convinces Hans to organize a search party for her. He and a small team head out to try and find her. When they finally reach the Ice Palace, Anna enters alone to confront Elsa. They're cordial at first, but when Anna again suggests that they can be close like they were as kids, Elsa remembers how her powers almost killed her little sister. She pulls away.
Elsa, wait.
No, I'm just trying to protect you.
You don't have to protect me. I'm not afraid.
Anna pushes the conversation further and tells Elsa that she froze Arendelle on her way out.
Well, it's okay, you can just unfreeze it.
No, I can't. I don't know how.
Sure you can. I know you can.
This is a really strong part of the film, where they have Elsa's fear and Anna's hope sort of battling in a musical interlude. Anna again pushes too far, too fast, and this results in another involuntary power outburst from the distressed Elsa, this time hitting Anna in her heart. However, she still refuses to give up.
I know we can figure this out together.
How? What power do you have to stop this winter? To stop me?
As Anna persists, Elsa creates a giant snowman that eventually almost kills her and Kristoff while chasing the pair off the mountain. After their escape, Kristoff notices Anna's hair is changing color.
Your hair, it's turning white.
White? It's what?
It's because she struck you, isn't it? Your own sister.
Hey, what happens between me and Elsa is my business. You don't know anything about her.
Anna's eyes flash a cold blue. Kristoff is confused by the sudden outburst. Her wave of anger quickly fades as Anna is left with regret on her face.
Kristoff, I'm sorry. I don't know what came over me.
Kristoff is concerned.
Anna, you need help, okay? Come on.
Where are we going?
To see my friends. And don't worry, they'll be able to fix this.
How do you know?
Kristoff looks back at Anna.
Because I've seen them do it before.
It's not exactly spelled out in the movie, but here we'll imply that Kristoff for sure remembers the original time Anna was brought to the Trolls. Since they had a hand in raising him, the Trolls would have filled him in on the fact that Anna has no memory of what happened, and reminding her might undo Grandpappy's healing of her head wound. Kristoff leads Anna to the Trolls, where they sing the Fixer-Upper song and draw the pair closer together. However, at the end, Anna winces in pain, which draws Pabi out to see her.
There is strange magic here. Anna, your life is in danger. There is ice in your heart, put there by your sister. If not removed, to solid ice you will freeze. And maybe something worse.
But you can remove it, right?
I cannot. I'm sorry, Kristoff. If it was her head, it would be easy, but only an act of true love can thaw a frozen heart.
A true love's kiss, perhaps?
Wait, this all seems familiar somehow. How do you know my name?
A jolt of pain courses through Anna's head. She grabs it instinctively. All at once, she remembers. Elsa's powers, the strike to her head, the healing, it all comes back. She comes out of it angry.
What have you done to me?
Anna, please listen. It was our only choice.
No! All this time, I could have been there for Elsa. I could have helped her. I can't believe my father agreed to this.
Elsa's powers are too dangerous. You might have been killed.
You never even gave us a chance. All of this is because of you.
Anna's eyes again flash a pale blue. Her pupils even turn cold. A gust of wind blows through the valley. Anna then faints into Kristoff's arms.
We have to get her back to Hans. It's her only chance.
Go! Heal the heart first. If her head is still damaged by the magic, bring her back.
Right.
Sven pulls the pair up and they gallop towards Arendelle with Olaf.
Let's go kiss Hans! Who is this Hans?
At the Ice Palace, the same scene plays out. Hans and his search party battle the giant snowman and force their way inside. Elsa fights off Wesselton's guards, but is knocked out by the falling chandelier after Hans stops one of them from shooting her. Elsa awakens back in Arendelle, her hands chained in the dungeon. Meanwhile, Kristoff swiftly delivers Anna to the front gate and tells the people who answer to get her to Prince Hans immediately. Hans sees this arrival transpire from high above the gate and walks off into the castle.
Prince Hans.
Anna!
You're so cold.
Hans, you have to kiss me.
What?
Now!
Whoa,
now!
Slow down.
Elsa struck me with her powers.
You said she'd never hurt you.
I was wrong.
Hans carries her to a nearby couch as she explains.
She froze my heart, and only an act of true love can save me.
A true love's kiss. Oh, Anna. If only there was someone out there who loved you.
You said you did.
Hans completes his heel turn by explaining his motivations. Being 13th in line for his own family's throne, he tried to marry into another kingdom to become a ruler. Anna was so desperate that she'd agree to marry anyone who gave her the time of day, which made her his perfect target. His plan from here is to let Anna die and kill Elsa, leaving him to inherit Arendelle as Anna's widower. He'd tell others that they completed their wedding vows before Anna passed away.
You're no match for Elsa.
No, you're no match for Elsa.
Hans leaves her in the dark room with no fire to keep her warm, as she is helpless to escape. She starts to shiver against the door, and anger once again crosses her face. Her eyes flip to that now familiar shade of blue. Meanwhile, Hans informs the other royals that Anna is dead and sentences Elsa to death. However, before they can get to her, Elsa escapes the dungeon. A few miles away, Kristoff is drawn back to Arendelle by the appearance of an unnatural ice storm forming above the castle. As Anna lies nearly motionless on the floor, Olaf breaks into the room she's trapped in and lights a fire in an attempt to warm her up. Her hair is nearly all white as she explains to Olaf what happened with Hans. He not so subtly mentions that Kristoff is in love with her and sees him rushing back to Arendelle on Sven. They race to try and get them together before it's too late. Outside, we see a confused and scared Elsa in the middle of the whiteout storm. On another part of the frozen fjord, Anna slowly walks forward as her hands start to crystallize and turn white as the snow. Kristoff and Sven then charge into the blizzard, but they're still very far away from Anna. Elsa is found by Hans, who explains that Anna is dead and it's all her fault for striking her sister's heart. Elsa drops in agony, and the storm instantly stops in its tracks. With Sven isolated on a broken off piece of ice and the snow out of the way, Kristoff locates and runs towards Anna. However, Hans sees her close by and looks in the distance to catch a glimpse of Kristoff sprinting to get to her. He recognizes Kristoff from earlier when he brought Anna to the gate. Putting 2 and 2 together, he draws his sword and runs to stop Anna from being saved. Just before Kristoff can get there, Hans swings his sword at Anna, who puts her hand up in defense before fully freezing. Hans is blown back by the force and knocked out on the ice. Kristoff is also pushed back, and when he gets up, he sees Anna has completely transformed into ice, terror frozen on her face. Elsa feels the pulse of magic and turns to see her sister in this state. She runs and hugs what used to be Anna, crying and sobbing. After a moment, strong winds start to blow, and the sky blackens. A loud crack is heard, then another, and another. Elsa senses something is wrong and steps back. After a few seconds of false peace, Anna's ice form explodes in a blinding flash of white. Through the snow and heavy winds, Anna is revealed to be alive, but looks completely different. Her hair is down out of its pigtail braids and sports an all-white color, minus one red streak where her original hue remains. Her dress and cloak are now all black with a hood hanging off her back. Anna's skin is crystallized by snowflake patterns and is pure white in contrast with her black dress. The cold blue eyes that showed themselves in times of anger have taken over. She stares at Elsa and Kristoff, who stand almost speechless.
Anna?
No.
Thunder fills the sky with dread as Anna raises her hood. What Grandpappy predicted all those years ago about a frozen heart changing a person's soul has come to pass. Whatever fills Anna now feeds off her anger. She's been warped and twisted by her sister's strange magic. Hans pulls himself to his feet to see what Anna has become. Her look strikes fear into his being, and with a wave of her hand, she freezes him where he stands. A final scream echoes away, and all that's left is a solid form of ice.
Anna, what's happened to you?
Anna summons her ice magic as violent winds, hail, and snow mix to create a dark storm. Roofs over homes in Arendelle are being torn off as people run for cover. Olaf is blown apart by the powerful winds as Elsa sees Kristoff and Sven barely holding on, shivering on the ice.
Anna, please, stop!
Her sister responds with more power that knocks her back. Seeing Arendelle about to be destroyed and those around her close to death, Elsa has no choice but to follow what her father taught her: protect the kingdom and its people. With all her might, she matches the powers of her sister and a brutal struggle begins. Elsa's singular focus has forced her to get a better handle on her powers as she shows more control than ever before. She unleashes everything within and knocks Anna back farther and farther away. The winds in Arendelle stop as Elsa is forcing her sister's storm back onto her. Anna's dark power shrinks close to her as pressure builds up. Just then, the ice beneath her breaks and she plunges into the freezing water. Elsa stops immediately and falls to her knees exhausted. The air is clear with an almost eerie silence. After a moment, Kristoff drags himself up and sees what has happened.
Anna!
He runs and dives into the hole in the ice, swimming around and looking for his love. He sees only darkness. Kristoff refuses to give up and is about to pass out when Sven pulls him out of the water. Elsa is devastated. She's been pushed beyond her limits and her heart is broken. This immense sadness envelops the queen as warm rain begins to fall on Arendelle. This starts the melting of the ice and snow, which frees her kingdom from its eternal winter, but at the heaviest cost. We cut to a few days later. The rain has subsided, but Arendelle hasn't seen the sun. The weather is still pretty cold for summertime as small patches of snow are left over. Elsa sits on her throne, obviously still traumatized by what happened. Her father's last words to her play over and over in her head. Protect Arendelle. Look after your sister. She had accomplished one of those orders, but at the expense of the other. Elsa knows she saved her kingdom, but she wonders if it's even worth it without her sister around. The Queen has also basically lost her powers. Whether the reason is psychological or supernatural is not explained. Kristoff enters the throne room and has returned from a long journey with Sven and a special guest. Grand Pobby presents himself to the grieving Queen. He delicately tries to console her and feels somewhat responsible for what happened.
You never asked for these powers, Elsa. You mustn't blame yourself. Anna's heart and soul were twisted by magic. She wasn't your sister anymore.
Elsa looks to Pobby with a pained expression.
I would have given anything to heal her, but this is outside of all known law. I've never seen anything like this happen. It may have been the worst of all outcomes for your sister, but you saved Arendelle. Everyone here owes you a debt of gratitude. All you can do now is continue to protect your people and make sure Anna's pure spirit lives on.
Elsa turns from Pobby's gaze. He looks to Kristoff, who peers down in sadness.
Kristoff has told me about your powers. They may return in time, and let's hope they do. What's happened may have unleashed a darker energy throughout our world. More threats may arrive, and I fear that only you will be able to stop them.
Elsa is numb and has no reaction to Pobby's words.
Rest easy, my queen.
The group starts to leave the throne room when Elsa speaks.
Kristoff.
Her sister's love turns to the throne.
What will you do? Where will you go?
I'm going to find Anna. She's still out there, I know it. And I am going to save her.
Kristoff leaves with a loud slam of the throne room doors. Elsa feels sorry for Kristoff, for she believes her sister is truly gone. She fears he'll be wandering aimlessly for the rest of his life. She slowly walks to a nearby window and notices two young sisters playing outside. They're building a snowman that almost resembles Olaf out of a small pile left over. These are the people she saved, and while her and her sister's relationship met a tragic end, she can at least make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else under her protection. Small bits of magical snow catch the light around her as a melancholy half-smile crosses her lips. Just then, a little ray of sunshine breaks through the clouds. After the credits, heavy winds are heard, blowing snow about in blizzard conditions. We fade in on the storm, and after a few moments, a shadowy figure appears walking forward in the background. Before we see who that figure is, the screen cuts to black. Dark enough for you? This take on the story changed a lot as I was writing it, but one of the main things I tried to get across was Anna's slow descent from the happy, optimistic character she's known as to a cold, angry, involuntary force of dark nature. Anna already had a lot of misfortune in her background, but being pushed just a little bit further could create a tragic foe for Elsa in the third act. The motivations for Elsa herself were altered a bit as I had her father hammer in a sense of responsibility to the people of Arendelle in addition to everything we saw in the film. Turning Elsa evil would have been a fun route to go, but that was already the original plan for Frozen, and you could easily look up what that story was supposed to be. I thought turning Anna into this White Walker, Sith, mutant combo was a much more unexpected and interesting path to take, and I know this never would have been made by Disney. I'm not trying to replace the original here, but if they ever wanted to push the story towards an older audience, this could have been a fun way to do so. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is Anna alive? Was that Kristoff looking for his lost love in the snow? Or something else entirely? Do you want another Frozen fanscription? Make sure to tell us. Also, don't forget to check out the FanScription podcast, where I talk with Rob Walker about my changes to this story and what didn't make the cut. Now, back to the reality of freezing Chicago weather. The cold never bothered me anyway.